Well, a very good evening from the home address on what day is it, Andy? It's mid-December. It's the 15th of December, 25, and more evidence of the Christmas tree in illumination. But that's not what I want to talk about. Something has been on my mind well, a bit of a warning actually. These are short crust mince pies from the Co-op bakery. It's not made by the Co-op, they're actually made by a company called Speed Bake, which I found out after complaining. So as you can see, there's a best before date on here of 2nd of December 25. I purchased these on the 21st of November, Thursday, and I ate a couple on the Friday, the 20th of November, and I ate a couple on the 21st, the Friday evening. And by Saturday, I was already phoning the Co-op customer helpline, the head office, in which I did raise a complaint. Not about the local store in my hometown, but about these. I'll tell you what happened. I've got a very strong stomach. It wasn't food poisoning. My stomach swelled up. I thought, what the fuck's happened here? I could feel my stomach absolutely, rise. I thought, something's in these mince pies that have caused this. And I felt very unwell, sort of stomach cramps and stuff. So I don't suffer from anything like that. So before I reached for my homemade medicines, I let it play a little to see what was going on. And when I turned the package over, then I realised just exactly what was going on. It might not be very clear on this camera, and I'm having a little bit of difficulty to read it at this angle under the light. What I'll do is I'll maybe list some of the ingredients. I tried to avoid any supermarket shite, like the biscuits and stuff like that, because they're full of this, you see that palm oil and oilseed rape, the rapeseed which I think I walked through a field of it this springtime when I was doing my railway walks. But look at the ingredients on I'll give you the ingredients first and I'll tell you what happened. So we've got wheat flour, we've got calcium carbonate, which immediately got me fucking outraged, because I know from my chemistry days, sorry about this, let me just focus. I know from my chemistry days that calcium carbonate is chalk. I'm going to get my spectacles actually, hold on. Okay, so I think this is a bit better. I've got my spectacles on. I've also taken my lantern, given a bit of light. So we'll start with the ingredients. Remember, this is mince pies, traditional Christmas mince pies. And the reason I bought them is because they're £1.60. I thought, well, they're cheaper than buying bloody biscuits, and I don't want biscuits because they're full of bloody preservatives and palm oil and all these oils. Well, look at this. Ingredients: wheat flour, calcium carbonate. Well, as I said, that's chalk, that's limestone. It's the same formula as, well, it is the formula for chalk. What is it again, Annie? Calcium carbonate. Ca is calcium, isn't it? CaCO3 is calcium carbonate's formula. And then we've got folic acid. We've got iron, fair enough. Niacin, thiamine. Well, these are minerals. we have sugar, and then we have vegetable oil, palm oil, rapeseed oil, sunflower oil, cottonseed oil. We've got 11% worth of sultanas. We've got Bramley apple pulp, 10% max. Glucose syrup, which is terribly bad for you. That will really put the bloody weight on and choke out your arteries. We've got raisins, water, tapioca, starch, glaced mixed, a glassy mixed citrus peel, including orange peel. Well, that's fair enough, if it's real orange peel, that is. We've got additional glucose, fructose syrup, lemon peel, more sugar, and then the preservatives include potassium sorbate, sulfur dioxide. Well, that's the reason I complained, because, well, not only that, because of the chalk and stuff, but sulfur dioxide is the one that will bloat your stomach, and it's poisonous. We've got acidity regulators, we've got citric acid, we've got dextrose, which is bad for you, currants, apricot puree, mixed spices, coriander, cinnamon, ginger, caraway. Well, I would expect cinnamon and mixed spices, nutmeg, for example, to perhaps be contained in ingredients. We also have emulsifiers and malted barley, orange oil, more oil. So, from this list, when I phoned the chap, he was based in Manchester, but anyway, when he sent off the information to head office, well, Manchester is the head office, sorry, but when he sent it off to the appropriate department for action, he, I mean, people are fucking idiots. The number of times I speak to people in customer services who can't even absorb simple information. I get it all the time, especially with that Perth and Kinross Council. They're hopeless. Not all departments, I'll have to say, but particularly, well, I best not mention them separately. But anyway, my point is, he then relayed information that I bought the short crust mince pies, had them for 12 months, and then decided to eat them on the Friday evening, the 21st of November 25, and then call him on the 22nd of November. The reason I know this, what he wrote down, is because he sent the information to me by email for me to add any further comment before it was submitted. Well, he had already submitted the original information to the people that picked it up. Anyway, I got an apology for that. I said, how can anyone be so stupid? I would definitely know that I wouldn't keep 4 of the Co-op short crust mince pies in my cupboard for 12 months and then try and bloody eat them. Of course there'd be something wrong with it. I says, my point is about the fact we've got sulfur dioxide and potassium and a whole range of oils. I said, my mother made Christmas pies annually in December. She never put all that shite into them. That's what I told them. She just made it with short crust pastry, and she would add in mincemeat. Yeah, sometimes she made her own mincemeat and added all the necessary, like raisins, sultanas, and of course some spices and stuff. But anyway, so I said to them, I says, you better take my complaint seriously, or I'm going to the Food Standards Agency about this one. So apparently what they came back, and they said that these ingredients are perfectly illegal in the United Kingdom. And it was an interesting exercise. They gave me my money back. They didn't give any compensation. I said I don't want compensation. I just want some understanding as to why you've got to put in cottonseed oil and palm oil and vegetable oils and sunflower oil all into a mince pie. but they couldn't give me any direct answers. I'm not sure if this is still on available in the Co-op. Of course, it's a month ago almost that I bought it. But I noticed the last time I was in the Co-op in Aberfeldy, last Friday, they didn't have any. So either they're all being purchased, or the Co-op have told Speedbake, the suppliers, listen, we don't want your bloody chalk. Customers don't want to be eating chalk for Christmas. They don't want to be eating limestone as a treat. And they don't want a mouthful of bloody palm oil and all the different oils. So the chap was right to bring it to their attention. So anyway, it's £1.60, which they refunded. Well, they gave me £2 back, but that wasn't the point. But I've had a whole litany of complaints that I've had to make to companies over the years. I haven't loaded anything. But it was about this time last year, early December, in which I actually had to write to Warburton's. And let's a second, please. I'm just going to get that letter. Yeah, so here we are. This is the letter. I've recently doing some admin in the property, and I remember seeing this and thought I'll keep it aside for a little while. But this is a letter that's addressed to me from Warburton's. This letter's dated the 27th of December 24. Well, it's about the I'll read some to you. Thank you for contacting us regarding your recent complaint and allowing us the opportunity to respond. May I say how sorry I was to hear that you experienced a problem with your recent Warburton's Toasty Loaf. Well, the reason I fucking bought it is because the weather conditions were so bad at the beginning of December last year. I couldn't go on my bread run, and I was forced to buy one of the shitey loaves. And not only did I open it up and immediately smell, as I quoted to them, acetic acid, which is vinegar, I said there was a smell of bleach and acetic acid. It completely put me off. I left it aside. I put the bread out to feed the birds, and not one bird, not even a crow, ate a morsel of it. So it ended up in the bin. It says here, as a company, quality is our foremost concern. We appreciate when customers bring any problems to our attention in order that we can continue to deliver premium products of the highest quality. An email reply was sent on the 2nd of December 24 requesting return of the bread for investigation. Well, that's right. I was going to, what I was hoping to do, unfortunately, I was too busy. But I was going to just, something I'd done before. I actually made a Christmas card out of 2 slices of Warburton bread. It was so hard I could write on it, and I pinned it to the tree at Amelry Car Park, my favourite birch tree up there in Car Park. So anyway, what I was going to do with this, I was going to write back to the department and put a stamp and write my whole message on a couple of bits of bread and send it to them. But anyway, this is what they say. Unfortunately, this has not been received and we have been unable to establish the cause. Well, that's fair enough, and that's why I can't give Warburton's a hard time, because obviously I didn't send back the bread for investigation. Our technical manager confirmed that we do not bleach the bread or use vinegar in the recipe. Well, thank fuck for that. Bread and its packaging can easily absorb strong odours, and it is possible that at some stage of distribution or sales the bread had absorbed the taint by being stored near an item with a strong smell. Well, I don't believe that for a word of it. We would like to assure you that we have had no other complaints of a similar nature, so can assume that this is an isolated incident. I am sorry we have been unable to positively determine the cause of the unusual taste that you noticed on your product. Should you experience any further problems, Please return the bread and packaging, which will enable us to investigate further. We hope you will continue to enjoy Warburton's products without further incident. Well, I would, hopefully every time I went to buy a loaf of bread, there should be no incidents. But I had to say that I'm not used to Warburton's. I have eaten it before, toast, but when you put it under the toaster, under the grill, it shrinks. So that means there's a lot of moisture and water contained in the bread. And that shouldn't really be the case. Bread should retain its shape, even after toasting, but not bloody Warburton's doesn't. In fact, most bread you buy in the supermarket seem to lose shape once you put them under the grill. And if you make a sandwich, well, I've tested all this. If you make a sandwich and you squeeze the bloody bread, it shouldn't go into a doughy ball the way it does. You don't get that with real bread. So I won't be buying Warburton's bread ever again. I'm sorry about this. And it will be a last resort if I'm in a cafe or even in a hotel and they serve up toasted breakfast or something. I just ask, can I ask what type of bread do you serve? I know it's white bread. Oh, it's Warburton, so we'll put that in the bin, will you? I don't want it. But it was kind of Warburton's to, reply. They'd done a very professional job. They did send an email almost immediately, very concerned. And they did take it, as I was, hoping for, in all seriousness. But it was stinking of bloody vinegar and bleach. I had my big nose stuck in the pack, and I was snorting away inside the pack to say, what the fuck is this? It's bleach and vinegar all in the same packet of bread. I'm not eating that. And neither was the birds. But anyway, where's this short crust pastry? I would just say to you, be very careful. I've written to a lot of companies. In fact, I spend a lot of time bringing things to people's attention. I'm not a serial complainer. I just like to make sure that they're aware. In fact, do I have that Mars? The time I wrote to Mars. Let me see if I can locate that quickly. If it's not where it should be, then I'm not going to search for it. No, this is not the one I was wanting. You cover my address. This is from February 2020. This is in regards to, this is about a Twix that hadn't met my, wasn't up to standard. So I phoned them and they gave me some vouchers, yes, to the value of £4 from someone in the consumer care team. Please find enclosed some vouchers to the value of £4 so you can buy some more of our products. Well, I want to buy any more of your products. I wouldn't be complaining about one of your products and then go and buy them again, would I? I remember Twix as a child. You know what a Twix is? A sort of double chocolate bar. A nice biscuity centre, Lovely chocolate over the top. Well, I remember the Twix when I was a young boy. And even the packaging of it was much easier to take off. Just rip down, not pop the Twix. And you spend a long time just sort of eating the Twix. Although I see some greedy bastards, they scoff it down. I've seen people when I watch some building sites or just people at an office desk, in an office environment, and you look over them, stuffing a Twix or something into the mouth. 2 bites, and it's not a very good sight. It's not a very pretty sight, but there is another lesser. I thought it was there. Bear with me, I think it should be there. No, I can't find it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for it, of course. I just zip through, but it's not there. But I'll put these in my file. But what I was going to say was this Mars incident I'm talking about was I was in Morrison's supermarket in Bertha a number of years back, probably about 10 or 12 years ago, I think. Yes. And I popped in before I get some shopping, before I got the 9 o'clock bus home. It was a long day I had at work. The time I bloody travelled a bit, both journeys, which was about a bloody hour or more. And then hanging around waiting for the bloody bus, even worse. So I finished at 8 o'clock, but anyway I came down and I was in Morrison's. Why am I telling you all this story? Oh yes. So I wandered around and spotted 4 Mars bars. Now I don't eat Mars bars. I think just like those Twixies I was telling you about, people eat Twixies too quickly. Well, nothing worse than looking at somebody eating a Mars bar. It really is a horrible sight. It's as bad as eating, watching somebody, like a colleague at work, eating crisps. These crinkle cut crisps, revolving in their mouth like a bloody cement mixer. The tongue, the bits of crisp in it, and stuck in between the bloody gaps in their teeth and everything. Horrible. And if it's cheese and onion and salt and vinegar, the bloody smell just wafts over. I hate it. Well, the purpose of the call to Mars was about this incident in Morrison's supermarket. So I picked up the Mars bars and I thought, 4 for £1, special offer. I thought, well, that's not bad, Andy, because what I do, if I ever get a Mars bar, ever, well, these things, I just cut a little. You might think I'm a miserable bastard, but I'm not. But I'll cut a little sliver of a Mars bar and I'll eat that, and that might do for a day. And then the next time I go for it, I'll eat another little sliver, so about the width of a slice of cucumber or something. That's the best way to eat a Mars bar. So when I saw these 4 for £1, I thought, that's not bad. So anyway, this cut a long story short, Andy, I got home here, and I was emptying my shopping bag and putting things away. And I opened up the package of Mars bar, took the other layer off, found these Mars bars. Wait a damn minute. They look different sized. Anyway, this is true, this story. I got my measuring tape. I measured each one of these Mars bars, and I found that there's a difference of 1.3 millimeters on each of these Mars bars. One was 1.3 millimeters in length. One was 1.3 millimeters larger than the other 3, which were slightly shorter than 1.3 millimeters less than the original, well, the first one I looked at. This was relayed to the Mars customer service agent I spoke to. I think what happened is he, asked me if I minded going on hold. I says, no, of course not. And I says, as long as it won't be long. I said, no. So he must have went and put himself on mute. And I always think to myself, I'm quite sure that he turned to the rest of his colleagues, I'm absolutely sure of this, and said, What a bloody crazy bastard we've got on the line here. I think he might have said something different, like, what an anchor or something, you know? What an asshole. But, anyway, so when he came back, I could hear all this other tittering and chirping, and he said, "I'll have a look into that." And I wanted to get that letter. It didn't come from Mars Wrigley. It came from Mars, not the planet, the company Mars. But they didn't have Mars Wrigley on the letterhead. So I presume that Mars Wrigley were, you know, an acquisition of one company from the other at some point since that event. But unless Mars balls are a different part of the company, I don't know. Let's find that out. See how these things lead on to another thing. I might have to phone them and ask, listen, what's the story about Mars Wrigley? Anyway, Andy, get on to the story, back to the story. So the long and short of it is that after taking all the individual measurements of these Mars bars and giving them to this chap, which I'm still sure his name is Nigel, he obviously doing his job, sent an envelope for me to set. Oh no, wait a minute, Andy, you've jumped the gun. He asked for the barcode. That's right, I remember this now. After he asked for the barcode, he told me, he says, yes, the purchased in Morrison's supermarket at this address in Bertha at 2032. I said, "You know that?" He said, "Yeah, we've got it here in the system." So it just shows you everything you buy is not only logged with the supermarket, but actually the company that supplies the product. But anyway, he sent me a what do you call it, an envelope to package off the bars. But he also sent me a complimentary £5 to buy myself some more. Again, I wasn't in it to try and get a fiver or anything. I was just wanted to bring it to the attention that that these Mars bars in a special offer 4-pack, some of them were as much as, well, nearly 1.5 centimetres, not bloody millimetres, Eddie, centimetres, 1.3 centimetres shorter than the other ones. That's right, I that's right, Eddie. You must have been telling him it was millimetres. No wonder you thought you were bloody off your head, measuring it for millimetre size. I meant centimetres. The first one was yes. No wonder he thought you were mental. Measuring up a Mars bar and finding it was almost 1.3 millimetres less than the other ones. Oh, well, there you go. And if you're eating mince pies, definitely worth having a look at the label if you're buying it from the supermarket. I don't want it to be a killjoy, but don't be wanting to eat chalk and sulfur dioxide at the same time. That will definitely give you a tummy upset. Oh yes, that's the thing. I reached out to my medicine cabinet, and I have to tell you, almost instantly, recovery from my Meadowsweet mix and a few spoonfuls of my Hawthorn tonic, and I was better almost immediately. But I wanted to see how quickly I would get ill after eating these, and that is a fact. And it wasn't food poisoning, and it wasn't anything else that was wrong with me. It was just those mince pies containing all those bloody horrible ingredients. So that's the tale. These mince pies are not very good for you. They should be delicious. These mince pies are not very good for you. No, they should be delicious. I think it's a case of the chalk, calcium carbonate. We've got sodium chloride too, and some potassium. We've got cottonweed oil, sunflower oil, vegetable oil, rapeseed oil and palm oil, just to make it a bit squidgy. No, these Christmas pies should be delicious, but they're not. These Christmas pies should be delicious, but they're not. These Christmas pies should be delicious, but I'm afraid they're not.